Hey, I'm Spencer with energeticcity.ca, and this is the Community Roundup, which is the first one of mine, at least for 2023. This is brought to you by Brad's Furniture and Appliances, and right now I'm in the North Peace Museum with Heather. How are you?
Good, you?
Good. You have a good Christmas?
Yes, very good.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about your 2022. Let's start right off with the Christmas tea, which I believe was held earlier last month. How did that go?
It went really well. It was our first one post-pandemic, and we had a good crew, about 120, and lots of volunteer bakers and volunteers to help make the event a success.
Absolutely. Did you have, so you had a lot of people kind of show up and
Yes, sometimes it was super full. Lunch hour is always our busiest time.
That is a good time to have tea and cookies as a lunchtime. And then you also, last time I was here, we talked a little bit about Di-November. How'd that go? I was really curious to see how that went.
It went pretty well, and in some ways it went extremely well. So we had 200 dinosaur kits to give away that were sponsored by Solaris Pipelines. They were dinosaur excavation kits, and we gave all 200 away in 5 business days. So those were a smashing hit. Some of our other initiatives still attracted a good number of people, but weren't quite as successful as we hoped. But we hope to do kind of a scaled down version this year.
Scaled, because of the dinosaurs. Okay, well that's exciting. I didn't pick one up, unfortunately, but were there a lot of dinosaurs kind of getting into trouble that you had to post around social media?
Yes, so we had to post every day for November. And the interesting thing about that was it attracted people who weren't just, kids with families voting, but lots of our seniors and so on really got a kick out of them too.
They were pretty entertaining. I saw one or two, and then I was just like, so good. And then another big project that you guys kind of, I'm assuming you started before this year, but the Allen House is, you're wrapping it up, or is it finished?
The Allen House is open now.
It's open?
Yeah, so it opened on October 1st, and we had 3 beautiful weeks in which people could see it, which was beyond our expectations since we had such a warm October. But now the building is closed until temperatures get above 0 overnight in the spring.
That'll be nice. So, what is it, June that we'll be able to get it?
Well, hopefully by mid-May.
All right. Excellent. And then you also held a few tours. So you did a Canada Day tour and some cemetery tours. Can you tell me a little bit about, I imagine there's a difference.
So we did scavenger hunts on Canada Day in partnership with the city. You could do a self-guided tour of the museum and the Our Living Languages traveling exhibit that we had. Or you could also do some scavenger hunts out in our historic building. So those went well. We had well over 500 people. We kind of lost track trying to count everyone.
The clicker doesn't go up that high.
And then our cemetery tours, we did about 5 over the summer. It really depended on the weather. One we had to do as a sit down in the museum, but we launched our Woodlawn tour and also offered our 2 tours of our main cemetery, both our original one and our Alaska Highway themed one.
Will those be held again this year?
Those will all be held again this year. We're doing 5 of them around those 3 themes.
Awesome. And then we also had a touring exhibit, the Indigenous Languages exhibit, that was here until, I believe, September 30th.
Late September, anyway.
There we go. And did you find that a lot of people were interested in the traveling exhibit? Is that something you're kind of hoping to bring back or something like it?
So we did have lots of people check out this exhibit. We thought we were going to be the only site in the Northeast, because we were when we booked it, but it's now currently at Hudson Soap Museum.
Oh, cool.
So when they're open, if you want to pop by, they've condensed it a bit, but you can see it on display there.
Mm-hmm. So, looking back at the year, obviously lots of events gearing back up after, we were all kind of isolated there for 2 years. What do you think is the biggest takeaway now planning events in this, post-pandemic era?
There are things we were talking about in our events committee that we're still trying to keep some numbers down low, or hopefully schedule a few of our kids' events a bit later towards spring, just so we can have more people while there's not so much illness going on. But it was great to be able to get back and do so much with the public again.
Did you have an event this year that you kind of had higher hopes for and it didn't quite make the cut, or did you find a lot of people were just excited to get back into the museum?
Numbers were still down this year, but I think overall it was just exciting to do so much and to be able to interact more with people. We're still gearing up and stuff, like a lot of our hands-on things aren't on display again yet, but hopefully once this wave of illness kind of decreases in the spring, and we'll get back to that.
Fingers crossed. It is super exciting to see the lower half of people's faces now. I'm like, oh, you are more than eyes. That's nice. And so, you know, kind of looking forward now into 2023, what kind of events do we have to look forward to coming down the pipe?
Family Day weekend, kind of partnering with High on Ice a bit. We're going to do free admission to the museum and winter-themed scavenger hunts. So we're going to look for some of our stuff, like the skis down there, or some of our trapping stuff, and so on around the museum. So that'll be fun. That'll be mostly the Saturday and the Monday.
Okay.
And we're hoping to do our annual general meeting in person again this year. We're hoping to do a couple of kits with sponsorships, one on animal tracks and one in November on marine dinosaurs.
Oh, cool.
And a whole bunch of different kids' nights. We had such a popular Halloween at the museum for the first time when we did it in October. That's going to be back for slightly longer hours this year.
I heard about that one. That one sounded, I'm again sad I missed it, but
Yeah,
I'm not a child, at least not physically.
And we're hoping again to do some scavenger hunts for Canada Day this time, including the Allen House. So that'll be cool.
Excellent. And you mentioned your annual general meeting. Are you looking for volunteers? Like, how can people in the community who want to get involved with the museum get involved this year?
We are looking for volunteers in a whole bunch of areas. So it could be volunteering in our gift shop, taking on one of our archival projects like scanning our newspaper or negatives, or it could be helping out with events and fundraisers. We're always looking for new ways to raise more money for the museum, or people to help out with some of our kids' nights or pack kits for kids and so on.
All right. What's the best way to get in touch with you if someone is itching to volunteer?
You can get in touch with me by calling the museum at 250-787-0430, or you can just drop by, or you can send us an email, look it up on our website, or a Facebook message. Anything works.
Excellent. Smoke signal.
Don't know if I'm good at reading those.
Well, not with these clouds, I'll tell you that for free. All right. Well, anything you want to say to the community over the past year? Thank you or anything like that?
Thanks to everyone who sponsored us. Thanks to our volunteers. We're still totaling hours, but I imagine they're somewhere in the region of 4,000, and we just couldn't operate without them. So
fantastic. Well, if you want to volunteer, get in touch with Heather. She's lovely and non-threatening, which is great when you're trying to make the first step in contact. I meant that in the nicest way possible. Anyway, this has been the Community Roundup, which is sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. I, for one, am very excited to see what you guys have coming down the pipe here. It's very exciting and a good way to learn without having to go to school, which is fantastic. I don't do sitting down very well. Anyway, this is the Community Roundup, sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. I'm Spencer with energeticcity.ca. This has been Heather with the North Peace Museum. Thank you so much for watching.